This is my mod pack. If you're a returning viewer, you probably already knew that though. But what you didn't know was that on top of the 12 previous difficulty mods, there are now 4 new ones. And on top of that, the improved mobs difficulty has been amped up to 100, and scaling health has been maxed out, all the way up to difficulty 250. And then on top of that, the config has been changed so mobs are guaranteed to spawn with full armor, equipment, and enchantments. And yes, that does include the same modded enchantments that make me as strong as I am. So now fighting one monster is like fighting myself, but like 5 times harder. So, let's continue where we left off. We just got enough diamonds for a full set of armor, and we're just about to head off on our next mission. And of course, that was the Nether. But before I was going to go deep in the Nether, I wanted to get 28 ancient debris, and I also wanted to completely enchant my diamond armor, so I got to work on it. I started by getting myself a diamond pickaxe and enchanting it, and then moving on to get the ancient debris and enchanting my armor, which all came pretty easily. However, before I could finish enchanting my armor, I had to get mending, and that turned out to be a much longer process than I thought. It took me like an extra 2 hours of just searching, but I did get it eventually, and then it was finally time to return back to the Nether. But make no mistake, I didn't plan on staying here long, and I was only here for 2 things: smithing templates and blaze rods. And I was rather lucky because I found a Bastion as soon as I arrived. But unfortunately, there wasn't a smithing template in here, so it was kinda pointless. But I found another fortress soon after, so I just decided I'd get the blaze rods first. I settled on getting 7 to 8 blaze rods because that's what I usually get. I like to have a little extra just in case I get really unlucky when I'm throwing Eyes of Ender. Getting the blaze rods wasn't too difficult, but it did take me a little bit of time, and it also demonstrated why I needed mending on my armor so badly because I took a lot of hits here. But hey, it was a pretty fun experience. So after I got on my blaze rods, the next thing to work on was the smithing template. So I found a Bastion, hopped in, got the smithing template, and hopped out instantly because I didn't want to be surrounded by all the piglins. So the last thing I had to do was to duplicate all my smithing templates with diamonds, and then turn all my armor and my sword into netherite. And getting that netherite was the last of my side quests. It was finally time to move on to the end. But of course first I was going to have to find the stronghold. And it all starts from this biome here. Except not really because it's just hard to get back to where I actually started from the replay mod, so I just put this together instead. So, this has been a long time coming now. From being able to barely survive even entering a cave, all the way up to being able to go against the strongest mobs. I've gotten a lot stronger. And to be honest, I don't think any of this would have been possible without the wolves we once had. And if you're curious about what happened to them, here's a little clip as an example of what happened. They weren't ready to face off against these new threats, but they had already done their work. It was time for me to carry the weight myself. And now, it was time to go and face off against the dragon. So at first I had really high confidence in this fight because, well, I had all the gear I could get, I was as strong as I could be. But it turned out to be that there was a little bit more to worry about than just the dragon here. And not to mention the incredibly powerful fireballs from the dragon. That is to 24 damage and it wasn't even a direct hit. If you want to see what a real hit looks like, I'll take a look at this. And still remember this, the dragon is not the real threat right now. It's the Enderman, and you'll see why in a moment. And just to get you to already think about it, the Endermen are already one of the most powerful monsters in the game, and now they've been amped up with more health, higher attack damage, gear, and enchantments all at the same time. And meanwhile I'm trying to deal with the Endermen who are constantly chasing me, I also have to deal with the super speedy and super aggressive dragon that's always onto me. And the dragon has a brand new move that deals a lot of knockback and damage. So if you couldn't already tell, this is not going how I expected it to. The dragon and Enderman are always targeting me, and the fireballs from the dragon have massive explosions and deal a bunch of damage. But none of that mattered, because I had to win this fight. I spent too much time, and I lost all my dogs. All so I could get to this point. But then came this part. See, remember I have to get my durability up on my armor, and to do that I have to mine. And meanwhile I was mining, the Endermen started to swarm me, and, well, this happened. So yeah, I actually did lose. And in a world as hard as this one had become, I was not going to be getting my stuff back. And I actually tried fighting the dragon a few more times on some copies of the world I made, and I won every single time. But I had lost on the only attempt when it actually mattered, because that was the real attempt. My first attempt. And to be honest, I don't think I'll be trying this again. So thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.